Everything you desire already exists, not somewhere far away, not waiting to be earned, but here, within your own imagination. The moment you imagine a scene and feel it real, creation is finished. You have moved it from the unseen into the seen. The world will rearrange itself to mirror the state you occupy within. You are not a victim of circumstances. Circumstances are the shadows cast by your inner assumptions. Change the assumption, and the shadow must change. Imagination is the source of creation. Close your eyes for a moment and realize this simple, profound truth. Everything you have ever known began first as an idea. The chair you sit on, the device you hold, the home you live in. All of it existed once only in the imagination of someone who dared to believe in the unseen. Imagination is not a daydream. It is not fantasy. It is the creative power of life itself operating through you. It is the invisible workshop of your destiny, the sacred space where you design the blueprint of your future. When you imagine something with feeling and conviction, you are not pretending. You are creating. The world you see with your physical eyes is nothing but solidified imagination, yesterday's beliefs, thoughts, and assumptions brought to life. The great secret is this: imagination creates reality. Not sometimes, not partially, always. Every emotion, every belief, every image impressed upon your mind leaves an imprint on the unseen side of life. And that unseen side is what determines what will later unfold before you as real. Look around your life right now. Every relationship, every experience, every circumstance, all of it was born from an inner state you once occupied. You may have thought you were just reacting to life, but life was reacting to you. When you realize this, something within you shifts. You stop blaming the world and begin to reclaim your power. You begin to understand that you are the author, the director, and the actor in this grand play of life. The script is written in imagination. To imagine is to create. But the key is not just to see the image, it is to feel it real. Feel yourself already being the person you wish to be. Feel the joy, the peace, the relief that comes from knowing your desire is fulfilled. When that feeling becomes natural, your outer world cannot help but conform to it. Everything moves from within to without. First comes the invisible act of creation, the inner assumption, and then, through a chain of natural events, it manifests outwardly as your reality. This is why those who live by imagination never feel powerless. They understand that creation is finished the moment they accept it within. Your imagination is not limited by time or circumstance. You can close your eyes and be anywhere, have anything, be anyone, instantly. You can step into a new reality in consciousness, long before it appears in form. And if you will persist in that inner vision, it will harden into fact. The outer world cannot resist the inner conviction. It must obey the law that imagination creates reality. So, stop waiting for life to change before you believe. Believe first, and life will follow your belief. You hold the brush that paints the masterpiece of your existence. Your thoughts are the colors, your feelings the texture, your imagination the canvas upon which your world is drawn. When you consciously imagine the life you desire, you are aligning yourself with the creative source that sustains all things. So imagine boldly. Dream fearlessly. Speak life into your visions. See yourself as already successful, already loved, already fulfilled, and the unseen will shape itself to your command. For what you imagine with faith today becomes the world you walk in tomorrow. Imagination is not a tool, it is the origin of creation. Use it wisely, and you will discover that nothing is impossible to the one who dares to imagine. Circumstances reflect inner assumptions. Look carefully at your life, not to judge it, but to understand it. Every event, every person, every condition surrounding you is a mirror reflecting your inner state of consciousness. Nothing happens by chance. Nothing stands apart from the world you have accepted within yourself as true. Circumstances are not your master. They are your servant. They obey the command of your assumptions, those deep, often unnoticed beliefs you hold about yourself and about life. If you assume you are unloved, life will send you scenes and people that confirm that belief. If you assume you are blessed, opportunities will arise to prove your blessing. The outer world simply arranges itself to echo the vibration of your inner conviction. This is the great revelation. You do not experience what you want. You experience what you believe. Desire alone changes nothing. You can wish for success, happiness, or love, but if deep down you assume you are unworthy, unlucky, or unseen, life must mirror that assumption. When you understand this law, you no longer fight with the world. You stop trying to fix effects and begin changing causes. The cause of everything you see is invisible. It lives in the thoughts, emotions, and attitudes you consistently dwell upon. Every time you repeat a story in your mind about who you are, what you deserve, or how life treats you, you are planting a seed. That seed, nourished by feeling, grows into the experiences that fill your days. So if you want a new harvest, you must plant new seeds. Change your assumption about yourself, and the world must reflect that change. If you want to be loved, assume that you already are. Feel it so deeply that it becomes natural to you. If you want success, assume that everything you touch prospers. Live in that state of mind until the world cannot help but agree with you. Remember, outer facts are not final. They are temporary projections of inner faith or inner fear. The moment you alter your inner belief, the old condition begins to dissolve and the new one takes shape. It may not happen overnight, but it will happen with certainty, for the world must mirror what you persistently assume to be true. So stop reacting to appearances. The more you react, the more power you give them. Instead, withdraw your attention from what you do not want and give all your energy to what you desire to see. Refuse to be fooled by the evidence of your senses. What seems real now is only the result of yesterday's assumptions. Change the assumption today, and tomorrow must reveal something new. The key is inner discipline, the quiet decision to live from your desired state, no matter what the outer world suggests. You do not deny what is. You simply refuse to accept it as permanent. You know a higher truth, that life moves from within out, and that your assumptions command the shape of your future. Circumstances are faithful servants. They do not argue, they do not resist. They only echo what you have already decided to believe about yourself. When you see lack, assume abundance. When you face fear, assume courage. When you meet rejection, assume love. The reflection must change because the source has changed. This is the divine law, unbreakable, absolute, and yet perfectly obedient to your consciousness. So from this moment, stop waiting for things to improve before you feel better. Feel better first. Assume the new identity now. Live inwardly in the reality you desire, and let life adjust itself to your new vibration. For the world is nothing more than your imagination made visible, a perfect reflection of the self you have chosen to be. Feeling is the creative force. The secret of creation lies not in thinking alone, but in feeling. Thought shapes the image, but feeling breathes life into it. Without feeling, imagination remains a silent picture. With feeling, it becomes a living reality that must express itself in your world. You have heard it said, "As a man thinketh, so is he." But thinking is only the surface movement of mind. Feeling is the deep current beneath it, the emotional acceptance that fuses imagination with belief. It is not enough to merely say, "I am wealthy, I am loved, I am free." The words must be felt as true. The body must respond as though the wish were already fulfilled. That sensation, that quiet conviction, is creation itself. Feeling is the language of the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not argue, reason, or doubt. It simply accepts what you feel to be real and faithfully reproduces it in form. When you impress it with the feeling of already having what you desire, the universe begins to move in ways you could never plan or predict. Events align, people appear, opportunities unfold, all to make visible the state you have felt within. Most people attempt to change their lives through effort and struggle, yet they carry within them the emotional vibration of lack and frustration. They work hard but feel poor. They speak of love but feel lonely. And life, being a mirror of feeling, continues to echo that inner contradiction. The outer world cannot contradict the inner state you persistently occupy. To change your world, change how you feel about it. Do not wait for evidence. Generate the feeling first. Ask yourself, how would I feel if my desire were now a fact? And then dwell in that mood, quietly, persistently, until it becomes natural. The outer world must conform to the inner climate you maintain. Feeling is the magnet that draws conditions, people, and events into harmony with your state of consciousness. The one who feels successful attracts success. The one who feels love radiates it and receives it in return. This is not wishful thinking. It is the immutable law of consciousness. Whatever you feel yourself to be, that you become. Every night, before sleep, you have the perfect opportunity to use this creative force. As you drift into that drowsy state between waking and sleeping, fill your mind with the scene of your fulfilled desire. Let it be vivid, but most importantly, feel it real. Feel the satisfaction, the relief, the gratitude of completion. Drift into sleep with that feeling, and the subconscious will take it as fact, working while you rest to bring it forth into your waking world. Do not underestimate the quiet power of feeling. You cannot fake it, it must be genuine. But you can cultivate it through imagination. Act it inwardly until it feels true. The moment it feels real, creation is complete. From that instant, reality must bend to your emotional conviction. Remember this truth. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of manifestation. You cannot bring what you long for by yearning. You bring it by assuming you already have it. Longing keeps it distant. Feeling makes it present. So today, begin to govern your emotions deliberately. Stop reacting to appearances and start creating from feeling. When fear arises, replace it with the feeling of faith. When doubt whispers, replace it with the feeling of certainty. Every emotion is a seed. Choose the ones you wish to grow. For feeling is the unseen sculptor of your destiny. What you consistently feel, you become. And when you learn to feel your dream is real, even before it is visible, the world must mirror that inner truth. The power has always been within you. Feel it. Live it. Become it. Persistence is the path to manifestation. Creation is not a momentary act. It is a process of faithful persistence. The instant you imagine and feel your wish fulfilled, creation is complete in the unseen realm. Yet, to bring that unseen into the visible world, you must persist in the assumption that it is already done. The world will test your faith. Appearances will rise up to contradict your vision. The senses will scream that nothing has changed. But those who understand the law of consciousness know that these are only echoes of old assumptions, fading reflections of the self you once were. If you abandon your vision at the first sign of delay, you return to the old state, and life has no choice but to mirror that back to you. But if you stand firm, unmoved by appearances, your persistence becomes the bridge between imagination and manifestation. Persistence does not mean constant effort or endless struggle. It means loyalty to your inner conviction, a quiet, steady refusal to be persuaded by what your senses report. You persist, not by force, but by faith. You hold the end in mind so completely that the outer world must eventually conform. Think of the gardener who plants a seed. He does not dig it up each morning to see if it has sprouted. He trusts the invisible process. He waters it, tends to it, and waits in confidence. So too must you treat your desire. You have already planted the seed in consciousness through imagination and feeling. Now, your persistence is the sunlight that nourishes it. Many give up because they confuse persistence with impatience. They say, "It isn't here yet. It's not working." But every time you affirm that it's not working, you affirm the absence of what you seek. True persistence is inner consistency, the decision to remain faithful to the end, even when the beginning contradicts it. You may stumble, you may doubt, but always return to your vision. Return again and again until it becomes your dwelling place. Persistence transforms imagination from a fleeting wish into a dominant state of being. When you live in the assumption of your fulfilled desire long enough, it becomes your natural identity, and the outer world must reflect it. Every master of creation has known this secret. Persistence outlasts resistance. The storm may come, the evidence may oppose you, but the one who persists in faith commands the wind to obey. The outer world cannot resist the power of a sustained inner state. So, when life challenges you, do not see it as opposition. See it as confirmation. The old state is being shaken loose. The new reality is forming. Continue to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Speak it inwardly, think it lovingly, feel it deeply, and persist until the unseen becomes seen. Remember, time is not your enemy. Time is the servant of your assumption. What you persist in believing, you will experience, whether it be good or bad. So persist only in the states that honor your highest self. If you desire love, persist in feeling loved, no matter what others do. If you desire wealth, persist in feeling abundant, no matter what the bank account shows. If you desire freedom, persist in feeling free, even when the world says you are limited. Persistence dissolves all opposition because it anchors you in the truth of your inner reality. Do not chase results, embody them. Do not beg for change, become it. For the one who persists in faith already holds the victory in consciousness. And once the inner victory is won, the outer world must follow in perfect order. So stand firm. Persist in the assumption that your desire is already yours. Let nothing move you. Feel it real, live it daily, and rest in the knowing that creation is finished. Because the law is sure, what you persist in feeling and believing, you will inevitably manifest. You are the operant power. There is no power outside of you. None. The creative force you have been searching for, praying to, and hoping would rescue you. It lives within your own consciousness. You are not a helpless being drifting through a random universe. You are the operant power, the very cause behind the effects you call life. Everything that happens to you begins with what happens in you. Every event, every relationship, every success or failure is a mirror reflecting the state of awareness you have chosen to occupy. Once you realize this, you stop waiting for miracles and begin performing them. The world has taught you to look outward for answers, to seek luck, divine intervention, or someone else's approval. But the truth is far simpler and infinitely more profound. The only creative law at work is consciousness. What you are conscious of being, you become. If you feel powerless, it is only because you have forgotten who you are. You have accepted the illusion that circumstances have authority over you. Yet the moment you awaken to your creative nature, life itself must bow to your command. The outer world cannot act independently of the inner world. It is only an obedient servant of your assumptions. You may pray to a distant power, but the real prayer is always inner acceptance. When you assume a state, when you inwardly claim, I am this, and feel it as true, you have already spoken the only prayer the universe ever hears. The creative power within you responds instantly, setting invisible forces into motion to make your assumption a fact. This is what it means to be the operant power. You operate the law of consciousness consciously. You no longer drift from state to state, carried by fear or habit. You choose deliberately who you are, and the world reshapes itself around that choice. Understand, this power is not something you earn through worthiness or ritual. It is your birthright. You have always possessed it, though you may have used it unconsciously to create unwanted conditions. Every negative pattern, every repeated struggle, is simply the misuse of the same law that could just as easily create freedom, joy, and abundance. The key is responsibility, not blame, but creative responsibility. When you claim yourself as the operant power, you take full ownership of your reality. You stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin saying, "What am I assuming that allows this to appear?" That single shift moves you from victim to creator. This realization may humble you at first, for it removes every excuse. But it will also liberate you completely, because it hands you the reins of destiny. You are no longer waiting for permission to change your life. You are no longer hoping the world will treat you differently. You are commanding it, not with force, but with awareness. Each time you enter imagination and assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are exercising divine power. You are operating the law that governs all creation. The moment you feel something real within, the universe begins to rearrange itself in perfect harmony with that feeling. So never again say, "I can't." Never again say, "If only the world would change." You are the change. You are the power that molds substance into form. When you fully accept this truth, life becomes beautifully predictable, because you know that everything begins and ends within your consciousness. From this day forward, walk as the creator of your reality. Let every thought remind you, I am the operant power. The world is not happening to me. It is happening through me. And as you claim this truth, every door that once seemed closed will open, for the power that opens doors and moves mountains is not out there. It is you. Live from the end, not toward it. Creation begins and ends in the same place, in imagination. The great secret of manifestation is to live from the end, not toward it. Most people spend their lives chasing the dream, waiting for evidence, hoping that one day things will work out. But the one who understands the law of consciousness knows that the end must first be claimed within before it can ever appear without. To live toward the end is to say, I hope it happens. To live from the end is to say, it is already done. One attitude postpones, the other creates. When you live from the end, you occupy the state of the wish fulfilled. You think from it, feel from it, and act from it, as though the desire has already materialized. You no longer see yourself as someone who is trying to become. You see yourself as one who already is. This is not pretending or delusion. It is faith in action. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you live from the end, you anchor yourself in the unseen reality and let the visible world catch up. The end is not a goal in time. It is a state of consciousness you can enter now. Close your eyes and imagine what it would feel like if your dream were already fulfilled. Don't think about it. Think from it. How would you walk, speak, and move? How would you feel lying down at night knowing that everything you desired is already yours? That feeling, serene, complete, and satisfied, is the creative power that brings the unseen into form. To live from the end is to reverse cause and effect. The world believes that outer success must come first, and then you will feel successful. But the truth is the opposite. Feel success within, and outer success must follow. Feel loved within, and the world cannot help but reflect love back to you. When you assume the end and live from it, you collapse the distance between dream and reality. Time itself bends to your conviction. People, circumstances, and opportunities begin to move in perfect orchestration to mirror your inner state. You are no longer chasing results. Results are chasing you. Living from the end requires emotional discipline. It means refusing to identify with lack, fear, or delay, no matter what the senses report. You walk by faith, not by sight. Even when nothing around you seems to confirm your desire, you persist in the inner knowing that it is already done. That persistence turns imagination into fact. You do not have to figure out how it will happen. That is not your work. Your only work is to live in the end and feel its reality. The bridge of incidents, the natural chain of events that leads you to your desire, will unfold perfectly without your effort. Life itself will organize the path once you have claimed the destination. Living from the end is living as your future self now. It is wearing the feeling of fulfillment as naturally as the clothes on your back. When that feeling becomes your dwelling place, creation is finished. So stop reaching for your dream, step into it. Stop asking when it will come, realize that it already has. Assume the end with gratitude and confidence, and the universe will rearrange itself to match your assumption. For you are not moving toward your desire is moving through you. The end is not ahead, it is within. And when you live from it, you will discover the greatest truth of all. You are already everything you have ever sought to be. If you can persist in the assumption that what you want is already done, despite what your senses tell you, the outer world must conform. The unseen becomes seen. The invisible becomes visible. You will awaken one morning and realize that what was once only a dream is now your reality. And you will understand, it was your faith in imagination that made it so. You have always been the creator. You have always held the key. The door was never locked. You only needed to believe that you could open it.